I'm back, and I'm going to review this can of classic Coca-Cola. It's a multi-pack can, and as such must not be sold. Ha ha ha! I fooled you! I fooled you! Of course, I'm not actually going to review this classic can of Coca-Cola, because obviously that's not what was in the title of the video, was it? You came expecting camera gear stuff. I just put this on as a bit of a joke, because it has been a bit of a long time since I last did my last video. Now, there are a few reasons for that, so I want to do a little bit of housekeeping first. I just wanted to break the ice a bit by just putting on this cold can as a sort of joke. I will probably be drinking this wet my whistle as we go, but for the time being I'm just going to put it here and put my hands here. Right, so where have I been for the last month or so, I hear you ask, if you're one of the regular viewers, watchers, listeners, whatever the proper term is for people who actually watch this. Well, for one thing, I was very busy with my 9 till 5, which is a bit of a misnomer because I don't always work at 9 till 5 as such. Certain days I work entirely different hours altogether, so it can be a bit deceiving to call it 9 to 5, but for simplicity, we'll call it 9 till 5. Things had been very, very hectic at work of late over the last month or so, which meant there was less time to actually go and put videos together and so on and so forth. I have managed to film a couple of other bits and pieces so far, I just haven't had time to edit them. So this is going to be my introduction video, getting back into things, and of course it's all about photography here, so we'll move that to one side and we'll look at something else that's actually, at first look, may look like a camera lens, but it is actually, it's a focus on your coffee, it's a lens coffee cup. In fact, let's just do something a bit different here. Let's go to a wider shot, because that's just a wide angled lens. You might notice a little bit of distortion around the edges here and here. That's simply because of the nature of this kind of lens itself. But this is focus on your tea, focus on your coffee, focus on your hot chocolate, focus on the text that is too small to actually be written here. Yeah, this is from a company called Satsuma, from satsuma.com. And it does actually look like an actual lens I have seen. I can't remember the make and model, but you can actually see this kind of lens that it's modelled on. I think they're onto two different variations of it. I think they're onto the second variation of it as of this point. And it looks fairly reasonable. From a distance it might just fool somebody into thinking it's the real deal, until of course they try to unfasten it and whatnot, and then oops, I meant to do that. Yeah, then you see inside it's just a plastic cup meant for something. Well, it's not meant to really do that, but you could do that if you want. It's meant to put your tea, your coffee, your hot chocolate, or any other beverage of your choice in. And it does do a fairly reasonable job of looking like the actual lens that it's based on, 24 to 105mm, which is actually a fairly good basic distance in some regards. The lens I've got on right now is an 10 to 18mm lens, so right now it's at its widest, which is the 10mm. I can't English today. Right, so the 10mm on this lens that I'm using right now is the widest, which is what you can see it on right now. The 18mm is that, where everything gets zoomed in. Very limited zoom in, but it does give you some options for creativity. This is the opposite kind of lens. It's basically 24mm to 105, so it's a bit of a zoom lens. So in theory, it would give you better close-ups from further away, if you're that way inclined. Of course, that's not what this is actually for, because this is meant for drinking out of, so... Okay, every time I take that lid off, it drops to the floor. And that's happened every time I've done it outside the box as well, when I haven't been trying to do reviews. Yeah, that's just the nature of the lens itself. It doesn't screw in or anything like that. It's got attempts to make it look as if though it's supposed to be depressed like that, but doesn't really. It's just a ring of plastic that fits in fairly well and does stay on. It's just when you take it off you have to be a bit careful. There, I was more careful so it didn't fall off. Right, we'll just put you to one side, because there's one other thing I've got photography wise, and it's what looks like an actual camera, an old style camera, the old film type camera lens. Although if you're into mirrorless cameras, the mirrorless cameras do tend to be quite small, more on a par with the size and whatnot of the old film cameras used to be. I've actually got some old film style cameras that I might bring out of retirement just to allow us to take a look at them at some point. That would be an interesting video, especially for the photography enthusiasts. As you can see, this is from Elite, or it's supposed to be. There's a few words which I'm going to assume are in German because we've got Germany written there, and that definitely doesn't look like English. I've got some various different controls here. The winder for the film, because every time you took a shot you would have to wind on manually so that the film would move on. Various different control functions such as flash and light and whatnot, and so on and so forth. Barcode, which probably wouldn't actually be of any use to anybody. That there is where the battery would go, which would be one of those small little circular watch-like batteries that you would use at that point. Can this be taken off? I think it possibly can, although I wouldn't really want to because that might ruin it. Various different controls, the flash, the viewfinder and so on. The actual lens itself with all kinds of printed on controls. But it's obviously not a real camera. What is it then? It is, if we take it off like this, you can just see that that's a fairly solid looking piece of metal, but it's actually quite hollow on the inside. You can actually press down there and you can feel that there are gaps. It is actually toffee. Yes, toffee. If you're daffy over taffy, is that the same stuff? I don't know. Then you probably want to enjoy some of that. Unfortunately, I don't like this stuff because it's just too tough on my teeth. It's not that my teeth have any issues, it's just I don't really like the texture of the feel or the stickiness as it gets caught up in one's mouth. Just looking down the bottom of the camera though, down what is the lens, you can actually see a fair bit of reflection, but it does, at least through the viewfinder, as I look through the viewfinder, it does look like you can actually see down the lens and into something else. That's because you can to a certain degree. There is actually a gap that you can see just through there. That's actually fairly nice looking on the inside. That's a nice, clean, very sterile looking environment. That kind of makes me think of the inside of the Death Star's hangar bays. You would have something like that where, where the lift would come up and troops would be deposited and whatnot. And while obviously it's not the same thing and by any stretch of the imagination, it does sum up memories of that. It does conjure forth memories of that for some reason for me. And that spins around a bit, but you can't actually take it out, not without deforcing, not without ruining it. As for this, well, that will have to be a bit of a mystery, because I don't eat the stuff. I can't stand the taste of the stuff, so I'm not going to endure. Oh, what the hell. Let's go with it. It's just as well I bought this, because this might help wash it all down, or at least help get it out of my teeth or something. Right, let's see, let's have a sniff test. Yep, smells kind of coffee-ish. I mean, there's no information on any part of this to tell you what it's actually made out of, so the only thing I can really do is just bite off more than I can chew. Let's put the whole thing in. Well, it's actually not hard at all. It's actually quite soft. It almost dissolves on the tongue as soon as you put it in. I am whipping up quite a bit of saliva though automatically. It's just got my salivary glands going into overdrive with no conscious effort on my part whatsoever there. I'm not even biting into it right now. It's just no, I am. Just keeping it to one side of my mouth and my cheek as the salivary glands going crazy. And it's actually not bad tasting stuff either. It is actually rather nice. So if you can get a hold of this, ooh, then you have a nice little display piece and some nice little toffee or taffy or whatever to actually enjoy. Yeah, that is rather nice. The only thing is it only lasts a minute or so at best before it's completely gone, if you frontally chew like crazy like what I'm doing. But if of course if you take your time, then it's probably going to last as long as you can make it last. Oh, that's a lot nicer than I thought it would be. Probably not good for the diet, but anyhow, for those of you who do watch on a regular basis, you might be thinking, what kind of location is this that he's using right now? It is literally just the top of a bookcase, which is roughly on level with my chest. Well, not with my chest. It's somewhere in between hip height and chest height, and I've actually found it's a lot easier to manipulate smaller things like this. I've got a table that I've used in the past, which something like this would look kind of lost on. if I have the camera and everything sort of at a higher level, like what it is right now. And that means I'm having to bend over a bit to manipulate things. And that was getting a bit painful on the back, so I decided 2 locations. This one for smaller items like this, this and this. And the table I shall make use of when it comes to doing things such as larger items, which need not just the use of the large wide-angled lens, but also the wider surface to actually store things on. So in the other videos I've shot, which I haven't edited yet, you will be able to see that in future on that. Which also brings me on to the issue of time. I do intend to update my banners at some point, because at the moment it always says Mondays and Wednesdays. At the moment, for the foreseeable future, it's likely to be Mondays or Wednesdays. I'm aiming to have at least 1 video out per week, 2 when I've had enough time to actually edit a lot of stuff all in one go. I'm still rather hectic at the moment work-wise, which is why I've had to lower things down production-wise in that regard. I still have lots of ideas for other kinds of videos I might try to do in future. It all depends on, obviously, how things go with YouTube in the future. Strangely, even though I've been on hiatus effectively since the start of the new year, 2018, my subscriber count has still gone up. I've gone past 100, 110. I think at the moment, as of time of recording, I'm at 118, which is quite good. It's just that, unfortunately, YouTube have, due to various different reasons that we're all aware of, Logan Paul being one of them, as well as reviewing its own rules and regulations somewhat, they've decided that people with under a certain number of subscribers and under a certain number of views can't monetize their videos, which is a bit disheartening for those of us who are smaller YouTubers, such as myself. But you never know, maybe things will change. Anyhow, time for me to say bye-bye. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to share so people know about these particular items. Thank you very much, I'll see you later.